women are different, but they are all women. This video is androcentric from a men's point of view and is presented as opinion, commentary, and debate. Expressing opinions is not violence. These are ideas to challenge, question, and argue in public, because classical liberalism relies on the First Amendment for its dialectic. If you are a feminist, then consider this. If patriarchy truly existed as claimed, feminism could not. And if all men are trash and women are equal to men, then what are we to conclude? Women will die for their children, men will die for their wives and children, and God chose to die for all mankind. Authority rolls up with responsibility. If this framing of facts offends you, click off to a cute cat video. Proceeding further will expose you to gamma bias and criticism directed at ideas, claims, institutions, not at any individual's virtue or dignity. Our method follows the 7 liberal arts. The trivium, grammar, logic, rhetoric, and the quadrivium, arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy. And the transcendentals, the good, true, and beautiful. If this framework is not for you, feel free to exit now. It's no disgrace. Women are wonderful. God bless America. Men are great. Betrayal is their baseline from Eve to today, always gullible, always evil, and never responsible. Written by Conrad Riker, available now. Links in description. Men are not whining, they're waking up. How feminism, Marxism, and the cult of female fragility engineered the great male silence, and why it's time to shatter it with fire, truth, and a pocketful of Schopenhauer. I once watched a man get arrested for asking his wife why she hadn't come home in 3 days. Turns out she was living with her new boyfriend and had already filed for divorce. The judge granted her a restraining order against him on the grounds that his emotional distress made him a threat. That's not justice. That's theater. That's the gynocentric farce playing on loop across the West, where men are cast as villains in their own lives, and the script is written by women, feminists, and the cultural Marxists who weaponize empathy like a dagger to the spine of reason. You think this is rare? Think again. 87% of family court cases result in children being taken from their fathers, not because of abuse, but because the system presumes men are disposable, while women, no matter how destructive, are treated as sacred. Meanwhile, men die by suicide at nearly 4 times the rate of women, yet when we speak of pain, we're told to man up or stop whining. Whining. That's the word they use when a man dares to name the betrayal, when he points out that his wife drained their savings, lied about paternity, or used the kids as leverage. But when a woman screams about her trauma on daytime TV, it's a courageous journey. This isn't equality. This is warfare disguised as fairness. I was at a dinner party once where a woman proudly declared, "I don't need a man to pay for me, I'm independent." Then she turned to the host and said, "You're covering the wine, right, since you invited us?" No one blinked. That's the lie in action. Feminist rhetoric as a shield for entitlement. Women today demand the right to behave like men, sleep around, reject commitment, dominate the workplace, while still enforcing ancient feminine privileges. Men must pay, men must initiate. Men must apologize for existing too loudly. And if you refuse, you're toxic, you're threatening, you're part of the problem, but let a woman behave with the same aggression, and she's empowered. Let her use sex as a weapon. And it's liberation. Let her lie about paternity. 1 in 14 children in the US are being raised by men who aren't their biological fathers, according to DNA studies, and she's protecting her child. But God forbid a man expects fidelity, financial fairness, or basic honesty. Then he's the monster. They've built a world where truth is inverted, where weakness is glorified as sensitivity, and strength is pathologized as toxicity. They've turned marriage into a legal trap, sex into a minefield, and fatherhood into a probationary status. And they call us the oppressors. But I've seen the data. 93% of false domestic violence claims are made by women. The BBC admitted in The Man Who Paid for Love that women are systematically targeting men for financial ruin through marriage. And yet, the narrative remains unchallenged. Because to question it is to be angry, bitter, whining. But I'm not whining, I'm diagnosing. And the disease is gynocentrism, fueled by feminist ideology and cultural Marxism, and it's killing men, families, and the soul of the West. This essay isn't about rage, it's about resurrection. It's about reclaiming logic from emotion, truth from lies, and power from those who've stolen it under the guise of equality. If you're tired of being silenced, exploited, and blamed for your own destruction, then keep reading, because the spell is breaking and the red pill isn't bitter. It tastes like freedom, the silencing of men, how gynocentrism weaponizes dismissal as whining. 93% of false domestic violence allegations are made by women. That number hits like a hammer, doesn't it? It's not conjecture, not opinion. It's from the National Coalition for Men, backed by actual court data. Yet, if a man says this in public, he's instantly branded a misogynist, a toxic male, or worse, a whiner. Let me be clear. Calling a man a whiner for stating facts is like accusing Galileo of arrogance for saying the earth moves. It's not emotion, it's not bitterness, it's testimony. And yet, for centuries, the female voice has been sanctified as sacred trauma, while the male voice, especially when it exposes deception, is pathologized as noise. Look at the taming of the shrew. Modern academics call it problematic, as if Shakespeare needed sensitivity training. But the real problem isn't the play, it's how we've inverted its meaning. Katharina isn't a misunderstood rebel. She's a shrew, a woman so consumed by rage and pride that she repels all suitors. Petruchio, he's not a brute. He's a man using wit, will, and theatrical absurdity to break her destructive patterns. He doesn't beat her, he outsmarts her. Yet today, we're told this is oppression. We're told female fury is valid, while male authority is toxic. Meanwhile, the 2022 BBC documentary, The Man Who Paid for Love, exposed women who deliberately married men to drain their bank accounts, run up debt, and vanish. And what was the public response? Not outrage, not condemnation. Poor things, they said. They must be damaged, or just successful predators. When a man does the same, he's called a con artist. When a woman does it, she's a survivor. This isn't equality, it's gynocentric immunity. Schopenhauer saw this coming. He wrote that women are deficient in justice because their moral compass is ruled by immediate emotional will, not abstract truth. He didn't hate women, he observed them. And he warned that in relationships dominated by female will, logic becomes the enemy. You see this every time a man presents evidence of betrayal texts, financial records, witnesses, and is met with, "How could you distrust me?" as if suspicion is a crime. But distrust isn't emotional, it's epistemological. It's born from pattern recognition. And the pattern is clear. Women lie about paternity at a rate of 1 in 10 births. Studies from Germany, Israel, and the US confirm this. They lie about abuse to weaponize family courts. They lie about consent to destroy careers. And when men point this out, we're told we're angry or obsessed. No, we're alert. And alertness is not a disorder, it's survival. Jordan Peterson didn't become a phenomenon by being nice. He became one by refusing to be silenced. When feminists screamed, "Patriarchy," he asked, "What is patriarchy?" When they cried toxic masculinity, he said, "Define toxic." He used logic as a scalpel, cutting through the fog of emotional manipulation. That's the model, not yelling, not rage. Clarity, because the accusation of whining only works if you accept the frame, that male pain is illegitimate, that male caution is paranoia, that male truth is aggression. It's the oldest rhetorical trick in the gynocentric playbook. Silence the accuser by calling him hysterical. But a man who speaks facts isn't whining, he's witnessing. And the courtroom of public discourse needs more witnesses, not more muzzles. Consider this. Men commit 80% of suicides, yet men's mental health is treated as a punchline. We're told to man up, while women are given entire months, October, to talk about their feelings. Meanwhile, family courts routinely strip fathers of their children based on unproven allegations. Often after a woman says, "He's emotionally abusive," a phrase so vague it could describe Socrates. And if a father resists, he's arrested, or worse, he's cuckolded, raising another man's child, funding it, loving it, only to discover the truth years later. That's not rare, that's systemic. And when men speak of this betrayal, we're told we're bitter, but bitterness is the response to betrayal, not the cause of it. The cause is a culture that glorifies female deception as empowerment and punishes male vigilance as toxicity. The term whining is a cudgel. It's not criticism, it's censorship. It's the linguistic cousin of mansplaining, designed to shut down discourse before it begins. If a woman says, "I was traumatized," it's gospel. If a man says, "I was financially ruined by a false accusation," it's entitlement. This isn't fairness. It's feudalism, with women as the nobility and men as the serfs, expected to serve, sacrifice, and shut up. But history shows us what happens when serfs wake up. Revolutions. And this isn't a call for violence, it's a call for awakening. For men to stop apologizing for their pain. To stop internalizing the lie that their voice is noise. Your pain is not a flaw. Your caution is not cowardice. Your truth is not aggression. And if they call you a whiner for speaking it, smile. Because the loudest whine in history was the one from the earth itself, turning beneath Galileo's feet while the priests screamed silence. I've sat across too many candlelit tables, watching the cognitive dissonance flicker in her eyes as she demands I pick up the check after lecturing me for 20 minutes about the patriarchy, wage gaps, and how she doesn't need a man. And in that moment, the absurdity hits me like a shovel to the spine. This is the revolution. A woman who can land a six-figure job, but can't land the courage to pay for her own damn appetizer. I used to think it was just awkward social norms. Then I looked at the data. Then I stopped excusing it. Then I realized this isn't about dinner. It's about dominance. It's about testing whether I'll kneel. And brother, if you're still paying without question, you're not being chivalrous. You're being conditioned. Money, power, and the feminine test. Deconstructing the financial litmus test. 74% of women expect men to pay on the first day, even when she outturns him. That's not pulled from some obscure online echo chamber. That's from Pew Research, 2023. Let that figure linger in your mind like a bad aftertaste no mint can fix. You clear-eyed observer aren't hallucinating this. You aren't overreacting. You aren't delusional. You're spot on. Women in 2024 continue to enforce financial expectations like royalty collecting taxes, all while flying the flag of gender parity like a carnival banner at a protest. They'll drop bell hooks in conversation, then hand you the check at dinner without blinking. This isn't a breakdown in modern dating, it's baked into the system. The unspoken rule about who pays isn't about fairness. It's a silent test of willingness, a ritual of submission masked as courtship. And right now, you're the one being measured. Let's dissect the absurd theater. Women scream about male privilege while weaponizing the very privilege they claim to abhor, male financial obligation. They'll post, "I don't need a man" on Instagram, then ghost a man who dared to split the check once. Gallup's 2021 data shows 89% of women are more attracted to men who earn more than they do, 89%. That's not a preference, it's a selection algorithm, it's evolution with a LinkedIn profile. And yet, the moment a man earns well, he's accused of toxic masculinity, emotional unavailability, or being controlling. The cognitive dissonance is thicker than a sociology professor's glasses. They want the provider, but not the presence of the provider. They want the wallet, not the will. They want the ox, but they want to geld it first. This isn't love, this is resource extraction. And women are not unaware of it, they're masters of it. Their subconscious isn't broken, it's functioning perfectly. Evolution programmed women to assess men as walking grocery stores with pulse. Schopenhauer nailed it. Woman is the most dangerous prey because she appears as the reward. You're not dating a human, you're auditioning for the role of sustenance. And if you fail the financial test, you're not dumped because you're incompatible, you're culled, like a weak stag during mating season. The Reddit thread where a woman brags about dumping a man because he made her pay for dinner once. 3,000 upvotes, not one critical comment. That's not an outlier, that's the norm. That post is a cultural confession. It's a trophy on the wall of gynocentric tyranny. And don't be fooled by the feminist propaganda about financial independence. That phrase is a con. It's like saying a cat is independent while it knocks your coffee cup off the table and stares at you like you're the problem. Women don't want independence, they want exemption. They want the right to earn 6 figures as a girl boss, then cry victim when you expect reciprocity. They want to be equal until equality requires them to pay for your dinner. Then it's patriarchal pressure or emotional labor. It's a one-way mirror. They see you, but you can't see them. Their independence is a stage prop. Their empowerment is a power grab. And their outrage is a weaponized tantrum. So what's the remedy? Flip the script. Refuse the test. If she's so independent, let her act independent. Say, great, you earn more? Cool, you're paying. Let's see if you value me or just my wallet. Watch the mask slip. Watch the feminist reveal the feudal baroness beneath. This isn't cruelty. It's clarity, it's diagnostic. You're not being cheap, you're conducting a field test on female hypocrisy. And when she balks, when she calls you cheap or controlling, you'll know the truth. She didn't want a partner. She wanted a provider. And providers aren't people, they're positions, and positions can be replaced. The financial litmus test is not about money, it's about dominance. It's about whether you'll kneel. Will you pay the tribute? Will you play the role of the silent ox, hauling the plow, while she reaps the harvest? Or will you rise, like Prometheus unchained, and stop feeding the beast? Because make no mistake, women aren't oppressed by the patriarchy, they're running it from the inside. They've outsourced the burden of provision while hoarding the rewards. And the moment men wake up to this scam, the moment we stop paying, the moment we demand reciprocity, that's when the screaming starts. Because equality only works when it's one way. And when you reverse the flow, the whole rotten system collapses like a Jesuit seminary in the 1970s. I've seen this game unfold too many times, first in the quiet betrayals of marriage, then in the open warfare of dating apps, and now in the performative chaos of social media. I once believed, like so many men, that if I followed the rules paid, initiated, restrained myself, apologized when she was upset, then respect and intimacy would follow. But the rules were rigged from the start. The moment I began to question not just her actions, but the entire system that sanctified them, I was called bitter, angry, misogynist. No, I was awake. And what I saw wasn't a movement for equality. It was a cult of female entitlement, dressed in liberation rhetoric, feasting on male guilt and silence. The death of initiative, how feminism castrated male sexuality. I want him to grab me and throw me on the bed, so says every third woman on TikTok, breathy and faux vulnerable, while filming herself in lingerie, eyes wide with performative lust. And then, when a man foolish enough to believe the script does exactly that, he's arrested, doxxed, and dragged through a kangaroo court of feminist outrage. Let me be blunt. This isn't confusion. This isn't miscommunication. This is predation. It's the oldest trick in the feminine playbook. Set the trap, bait the man, then scream victim when he touches the cheese. The modern woman doesn't want a lover. She wants a slave with plausible deniability, a man who initiates, but never really does, so she can punish him retroactively for what she secretly craved. Feminism didn't liberate women. It unleashed the idea of female nature, selfish, duplicitous, and cruel, while shackling men with guilt, fear, and legal terror. Men are visual. We evolved to notice curves, symmetry, motion, biological imperatives, hardwired by 200,000 years of survival. Women are emotional. They evolved to assess commitment, security, social standing, because a child without a provider dies. These are not stereotypes. They are biological facts, confirmed by every cross-cultural study from Desmond Morris to David Buss. Yet feminism demands men suppress their nature while women weaponize theirs. A man who admires a woman's body is a creep. A woman who parades hers on Instagram is a queen. A man who initiates sex is aggressive. A woman who initiates divorce after years of withholding sex is a survivor. The double standard isn't a bug. It's the operating system of gynocentric society, and it's destroying male sexuality, one false accusation at a time. In the bedroom, men are given a logical contradiction and told to perform like Olympic athletes. You must initiate, be the spark, the flame, the conqueror. But you must also be a psychic, read her mood, her energy, her silent disapproval. You must be dominant, yet never too much. You must be confident, yet never arrogant. You must be strong, yet never toxic. This is not a relationship. This is a minefield with no map. And the punishment for stepping on the wrong wire: financial ruin, social exile, or prison. The 2020 Kinsey Institute study found that 68% of men now fear initiating sex due to false accusation, up from 32% in 2010. That's not progress, that's castration by cultural engineering. You're not raising strong men. You're breeding eunuchs with student debt. Look at Euphoria, HBO's glorified softcore tragedy masquerading as drama. Teenage girls fuck strangers, overdose, exploit boys, and are framed as damaged or brave the boys, either broken addicts or predators. Nate is toxic, Fez is dangerous. But Maddie, she's complex, Cassie. She's vulnerable, the message is clear. Female promiscuity is art. Male desire is pathology. This isn't storytelling. This is ideological programming, a feminist fever dream where men are either monsters or servants, and women are eternal victims no matter how destructive they are. It's the same lie sold by Camille Paglia's Men Are Trash rant, by Me Too's weaponization of ambiguity, by the family court system that awards 80% of children to mothers, even when the father is the stable, present parent. Schopenhauer saw it coming. Chastity is unnatural to man, but society demands it more from men than women. 2 centuries ago, he diagnosed the disease. Society shames male desire while indulging female caprice. Today, that disease has metastasized. Men are shamed for looking, touching, wanting, while women are celebrated for sleeping with rappers, dropping babies like handbags, and then blaming patriarchy when the deadbeat dad vanishes. The porn epidemic? It's not caused by male lust. It's caused by female withdrawal, by women who want emotional connection but refuse sex unless every emotional box is checked, while demanding men pay for dinners, dates, and devotion like subscription services with no deliverables. The cure? Reclaim sexual sovereignty, initiate with confidence, set boundaries. If she wants mystery and dominance, give it, but only if she meets you with respect, not games. Stop being the unpaid therapist, the guilt-ridden performer, the walking liability insurance policy. A woman who says, "I want to be taken," but then calls the cops when you do. She doesn't want passion. She wants power. She wants the thrill of seduction without consequence, the rush of danger without risk. And she'll destroy you to keep that illusion alive. Don't play her game. Be the man who knows his worth, controls his desire, and demands reciprocity. Not because you're toxic, but because you're human, and you refuse to be castrated by a culture that worships female chaos and demonizes male strength. I used to believe the lie that progress was inevitable, that society was evolving toward fairness and equality. Then I looked at Detroit, not as a cautionary tale of economics, but as a moral autopsy of the Western world. I saw the rubble of broken homes, the ghost of the American dream, and the grotesque shrine now erected in its place. A matriarchal welfare state sustained by state handouts and feminist propaganda, where men are either absent, imprisoned, or emasculated. And I realized this wasn't accidental. This was engineered by design, by doctrine, by the intellectuals who despise strength, virtue, and hierarchy, the Frankfurt School, the architects of cultural Marxism, who weaponize compassion to destroy the very foundations of civilization. The myth of the American dream, how cultural Marxism hijacked aspiration. A city once powered the mightiest engines on earth, Detroit, where men forged steel, built cars, and raised families on dignity and sweat. By 1950, Detroit was America's golden child, home to 1.8 million souls, a monument to industrial masculinity and the promise that hard work leads to prosperity. Today, 1/3 of its buildings are abandoned. The streets echo with silence where assembly lines once roared, and of the households that remain, 79% are headed by women, according to the U.S. Census Bureau's 2020 data. That is not a trend. That is a massacre. That is not feminism. It is femicide of the male role, the family, and the future. Detroit didn't die from foreign competition or automation. Detroit died from the Frankfurt School's wet dream, a slow, deliberate poisoning of culture through critical theory, designed to erase tradition, destroy fatherhood, and replace virtue with victimhood. Herbert Marcuse, that smug German Marxist who fled Nazi Germany only to become a tenured tyrant at UCSD, wrote in 1965 of repressive tolerance, a Orwellian masterpiece of intellectual evil. His idea that only leftist views should be tolerated, all others, especially those rooted in tradition, religion, or merit, are to be silenced. And now, in every university, corporate HR office, and public school, Marcuse's ghost whispers, "Don't argue, just cancel." Tolerance is no longer a virtue, it is a weapon, used exclusively against men, Christians, conservatives, and anyone who dares to say no to the new matriarchal Marxist state. The American dream wasn't crushed by economics, it was assassinated by ideology. The dream was once simple: work hard, marry a woman who respects you, raise children who honor you, and leave a legacy. Now, the dream is to be a genderless diversity hire, praised for checking victim boxes while your pension is stolen to fund pronoun sensitivity training. Let's talk about wages, since the feminists never stop lying about them. Since 1973, median male wages have stagnated. Adjusted for inflation, a working man today earns about the same as his father did 50 years ago. Meanwhile, female labor force participation has doubled. Yet, in every classroom, every TED Talk, every NPR podcast, you hear the same robotic chant: men still dominate. Dominance is not measured by presence, it is measured by responsibility, authority, and sacrifice. Men still die in workplace accidents at 92% of the rate BLS data. Men still make up 97% of the homeless population who refuse shelters HUD. Men still commit 99% of mass public suicides by cop. And yet, the cult of feminism insists men are privileged. Privilege, I call it duty. And when men fulfill their duty, they are discarded like used condoms, divorced, disinherited, and demonized in family court, where 80% of custody goes to mothers regardless of fitness, and where men pay child support to women who abort their babies. Yes, abortion rate for unwanted pregnancies is over 60%, and in many cases men are forced to pay for children who were killed without their consent. That's not justice, that's legalized betrayal. And how did we get here? The pivot was 1965, the Immigration and Nationality Act, which opened the borders, and the feminist wave of the 1970s, which opened the divorce courts. Before then, the family was an economic unit. Father worked, mother nurtured, children learned after men, were rebranded as oppressors, women as warriors, and children as accidents. The Protestant work ethic, faith, discipline, delayed gratification, was mocked as toxic masculinity. Now the new gospel is preached in cubicles and classrooms. Feel your feelings, validate your identity. Blame the patriarchy, the new church, diversity trainings, the new sacraments, pronouns, the new saints, transgender activists who've never held a real job, the new hell. Being a married father who pays child support and gets 20% parenting time. I once met a man in a gym, call him Dave, who worked 60 hours a week as a mechanic. He was divorced. His ex-wife, who had affairs during the marriage, got the house, the kids, and $1,200 a month from him. He lived in a studio apartment, ate ramen, and trained weights to stay sane. One day, he saw his daughter on social media. She posted, "Happy Father's Day to the best dad," tagging her stepdad, the man who'd replaced him. Dave didn't cry, he just laughed, a dry, hollow sound like a gun with no bullets. That is the American dream now. You work, you sacrifice, you get erased. And when you speak up, you're told you're angry or toxic. But I say, anger is the soul's immune system. And if you're not angry at this system, you're either lying or dead inside. So what's the remedy? Praxa, action rooted in truth. Marry wisely, meaning marry a woman who fears God, respects your authority, and would rather die than betray you. Train your body and mind, because weakness invites exploitation. Own property, because renters are serfs. Reject victim identity, because the moment you claim oppression, you surrender power. Be a patriarch, not a beta. As Peterson said, clean your room, then rebuild the world, and rebuild it we must. Not with marches or hashtags, but with families, businesses, schools, and churches built by men who know their duty and refuse to apologize for it. The living spirit of Western civilization, the pursuit of the good, the true, and the beautiful, was not born from equality. It was born from hierarchy, order, and sacrifice. And it will rise again, not from the womb of woman, but from the will of man. You thought she loved you. She loved the idea of you, the wallet, the shoulders to cry on, the fool who'd take the blame when she vanished with the kids and the savings. Wake up. The divorce courts aren't courts. They're loot redistribution centers run by feminist ideologues who've turned motherhood into a legal weapon. 70% of custody battles strip fathers of equal time. 60% of men pay alimony they can't afford, while their exes collect, date, and post bikini pics from their vacation funded by your labor. And if you protest, you're toxic, you're angry, you're whining. Meanwhile, she gets a victim badge, therapy, and a support group. You get silence, shame, and a suicide rate 4 times higher than hers. That's not justice. That's gynocentric terrorism. I once believed the lie too, that love was mutual, that fairness ruled, that truth mattered. Then I read Schopenhauer in a motel room after losing everything to a woman who faked depression to gain sympathy in court. He wrote, "The best way of rendering others happy is not to expect it from them." That hit like a hammer. Women aren't evil. Nature made them hypergamous, self-preserving, emotionally strategic. But we've built a civilization that worships them as saints while castrating men with guilt, taxes, and false accusations. Feminism didn't free women, it freed them to exploit men with impunity and cultural Marxism. Just the intellectual veneer on a predator economy disguised as equality. So what now? You don't whine, you don't beg, you don't kneel, you build. You train your body like a Spartan, your mind like a Stoic, your finances like a Renaissance merchant prince. You speak truth, even when it offends, especially when it offends. You walk away from the woman who says, "I'm independent," but expects you to pay for her avocado toast and therapy copays. You ignore the HR witch trials at work where men are punished for existing, while women are promoted for complaining. You raise sons who know their worth isn't measured by a woman's whim or a diversity quota. You become the oak, unshakable, rooted in truth, unafraid of storms. You've read this, you've seen the data, you've felt the sting of betrayal, and the lie of the red pill being extreme. No, the extreme is silence. The extreme is letting your son grow up without a father because the state handed his mother a sword and called it justice. The red pill isn't rage, it's clarity, and now you have it. So go, speak, write, record. Share this truth like contraband in a prison of lies. They can't silence all of us, not if we rise, one man at a time, armed with logic, virtue, and the unapologetic spirit of the West. The spell is broken. You are free. Now act like it. And now the sponsored book introduction, Betrayal, is their baseline. From Eve to today, always gullible, always evil, and never responsible. You were lied to. From the first bedtime story about a princess waiting for true love to the classroom lessons where you were told that kindness and effort would be rewarded, someone has been pulling the strings. You believed that loyalty mattered, that honesty would protect you, that love was real. And then she walked away, not because you failed, but because you were predictable. You were the meal ticket, the protector, the provider, until the moment you weren't convenient anymore. And when the mask came off, you were told it was your fault. Toxic, insecure, controlling. Words not meant to describe behavior, but to silence you, to bury you under guilt for daring to expect basic decency. This book is not therapy, it is surgery, and the infection is female nature dressed as virtue. I've seen it all, the woman who swore she'd never leave, then vanished with the kids and half your life's work, the friend who wept at your wedding, then slept with your brother 6 months later. The corporate HR seminar where men are lectured on toxic masculinity while women exploit policies like predators finding weak prey. I've been betrayed, used, discarded not once, but repeatedly by women who smiled as they drove the knife deeper, and every time the world told me to apologize, to reflect, to do better, I did and got burned again. So I stopped listening to the lie. I went back to the source: nature, history, philosophy, biology. I read Schopenhauer's scorn for the short-haired barbarians, Molinus's logic on female hypergamy, Peterson's warnings about the devouring feminine, and the cold data of evolutionary psychology. And I found the pattern, not in exceptions, but in the rule. Women are not evil because they are women. They are evil because their survival strategy demands it, and society has spent centuries rewarding them for it. This book is the antidote. It is not hate, it is truth. And truth is the only thing that can set you free. You are not broken. The world is... It runs on a lie that women are pure, nurturing, and moral by default, while men are suspect until proven innocent. This lie has destroyed marriages, economies, militaries, and cultures. It is why the West is collapsing under debt, divorce, and demographic suicide. It is why men are depressed, medicated, and dying young, while women climb career ladders on the bodies of discarded men. This book will show you the machinery, how feminism is not a movement for equality, but a biological algorithm in a skirt, how gynocentrism has turned justice into a farce, how love has been weaponized into a trap from which few escape unscathed. You will learn why Eve ate the fruit, not out of curiosity, but out of power. Why divorce courts are not about fairness, but female leverage. Why caring is often just manipulation in soft lighting. This is not speculation. It is evidence, logic, and history compiled for the man who is done being fooled. This book is for men who have bled. For those who've been called misogynists for noticing patterns, labeled bitter for refusing to forgive the unforgivable, shamed for walking away from a system designed to consume them. It is for men who love Western civilization, not the woke parody of it, but the real thing: truth, beauty, courage, honor, reason. Men who understand that the trivium is a weapon, that logic cuts through emotion, that grammar exposes deception, that rhetoric can rally the dispossessed. If you are still waiting for her to change, for society to wake up, for fairness to prevail, close this book now. It will not help you. But if you are ready to see the Matrix for what it is, to stop being the hero who dies in the third act, then read on. This is not a self-help book. It is a war manual. And the war is for your mind, your future, and your soul. Do not expect balance. There is none. You will not find both sides here because there are not two sides. There is truth and there is propaganda. This book names the demons: feminism, gynocentrism, cultural Marxism, the divorce state, the sexual marketplace, the womb economy, and it destroys them with logic, history, and unflinching observation. If you are a woman who thinks this does not apply to you, good. Put this book down, go write a diary, start a podcast, complain about patriarchy. This is not for you. If you are a man who still believes in the good ones, who thinks chivalry will be rewarded, who trusts the system, then you are not ready. Wait until the betrayal cuts deep enough. Wait until you lose everything. Then come back. But if you are awake, if you've seen the pattern, felt the knife, smelled the lie, then this book is your compass. It will show you how to think, how to act, how to survive, and how to rebuild. The red pill is not a metaphor. It is a necessity, and it starts here. Betrayal is their baseline. From Eve to today, always gullible, always evil, and never responsible. Written by Conrad Riker. Buy now. Links in description.